Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my man Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are closing out our work week on a Friday here with an 11-game NBA slate after just one game last night on Thursday night as the Pistons were hosting the Dallas Mavericks. Plenty to choose from tonight, as we said, though, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page. We got a couple game videos up for you. In this one, we're talking about the Lake Show headed till Milwaukee, taking on those Bucks. We've also got another game video and our player props video, so continue to come back with us. Also want you to head to thelines.com. That's where we have our great written content up. Nate puts all those picks up there on the lines.com, and our great odds finder tool is in all those articles as well. You can use that to make sure you're getting the best juice back on all these bets in the NBA this season. Nate, let's go ahead and get into this giant slate tonight and then talk Lakers and Bucks.
Yeah, good to have a few options back on the slate after that Dallas-Detroit game that was surprisingly entertaining, though, last night. Washington -3 at Charlotte. LaMelo Ball still out for Charlotte. Orlando's +10 at the Cavs, who've been crushing people. This game we're talking about +8.5 are the Lakers at Milwaukee. Game total at 230. The Heat down to +7.5 at Boston. Jimmy Butler might be able to return for that immediate rematch. Nuggets -2.5 at the Hawks. Raptors +1.5 at Brooklyn. Other game we break down, New Orleans is -7 at the tanking Spurs. The Sixers +5 at Memphis. Pacers +5 at the Jazz. Tyrese Halliburton questionable. Rockets +12 at Suns. And then the Bulls +7.5 at the Warriors, total all the way at 237 with the Dubs at home there. All right, Lakers Bucks, and Chris Middleton might be back tonight for the first time this season. So maybe that gives the Bucks some extra juice on the line. But I don't think that that's necessarily a positive in terms of continuity. I mean, he hasn't played since the first round of the playoffs last year. It might take a little bit of time to reintegrate him into the offense, which hasn't been great in general this season. Much better at home, though. And Middleton has actually kind of sucked against the Lakers. His last 6 in the regular season, shooting 39% from the floor, getting 17 points per game. So, I mean, I'm already, regardless of that news, I'm on the Lakers to cover here. And maybe if you're +300 or better, to take a small wager out on them winning this game. I'm not sold on the Bucks being the powerhouse that their numbers indicate at this point. I mean, their defense has been incredible. I don't know how much of that is the level of competition. But more, to me, it's about the Lakers getting off the schneid, getting both their superstars back and relatively healthy, and figuring out some lineup combinations that actually work, which right now is LeBron, AD, and your boy Austin Reeves, the lady killer, who's now in the starting lineup. And those guys combined for +26 in a bounce-back win after they blew the big lead. The last time Reeves started against the Spurs, he was excellent, 21 points in 27 minutes. He had a 166 offensive rating last game. I mean, he's shooting like 60% from 3 in his last 6 here. And since getting LeBron back, the Lakers go from 33% from deep to 41% as a team. Obviously, the shot quality going way up there. AD continuing to do what he does when he's at his full powers here, which is score down low. And yeah, his prop only 23.5 points because I guess we're giving, Brook Lopez, Giannis lots of credit in their terms to be able to limit AD. Well, how about his ability to limit them? Because he has the number 1 defensive rating in the NBA now. In his last 8, it's a 97 defensive rating. Like I said in our awards video yesterday, +2,200 for the man to win Defensive Player of the Year. If he can stay healthy, that's a big if, but that's why you're getting +2,200. Not a bad bet. So, I mean, I just think with both those guys, you look at the last time they were both active to face the Bucks. I mean, Giannis went absolutely nuclear, and the Lakers lost in February. That was when they were in the throes of their can't get anything right, hate each other, whatever. Giannis posted a 181 offensive rating, 17 for 20 from the floor, which by himself basically broke a streak of 6 straight unders when these teams meet. Because these teams are both so interior oriented and so good at defending the interior, I kind of lean under here at 230. Even though the Bucks score 10 more points per game at home, their defense also a little better. But I just think the Lakers can hang. I think that this game will mean a lot to them, as it has, for both teams every time they met, because it's really the alpha matchup, right? Whenever Giannis and LeBron are both playing, it's both those guys are geared up and their teammates are as well. And I mean, AD is playing like an alpha as well right now. So I just think the Lakers can hang within 9 points. You look at prior to that February meeting, they actually beat Milwaukee both times. They had both LeBron and AD active. I mean, that was January 21 and March 2020 when they were like the best team in the league. I mean, obviously went on to win the championship, but look, they won 6 of 8. They're looking pretty good. I think they can at least be competitive in this one after the Bucks, scraped by against the Knicks. I just don't think that they're the powerhouse that you can expect to cover by 9. Look, they didn't really do that last year. Anytime you saw a big spread at the Bucks, it was going the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. They didn't cover quite the same last year. I don't know how much you buy into the Lakers road stats this year, though, because they're pretty bad away from Staples, Crypto, FT, whatever the hell arena it is these days. I don't know if the crypto's still working, but 1-6 against the spread at home, -11 margin of victory, failing to cover by about 5 points on that spread at home this season. It continues into the idea of them not playing offense at all this season in general, but on the road, 110 points a game versus 115 at home, giving up the 118 points a game versus 112 at home. So it's obviously not very good. 2-6 straight up on the road this season. I think there's a little bit to be concerned about with the way that they're unable to just really score the ball on the road. They're not even getting as many shots up despite playing at a pretty fast pace. They have been a little bit slower over these last 3 games where they've won 2 of 3, but I'm also a little bit hesitant to ride any of the wave of winning 6 out of 8 when those wins come against the Spurs thrice. 3 wins against the Spurs, a win against the Pistons, win against the Nets, who were playing on a back-to-back on the road, losing to the Pacers by 1 after being up by 11. But, even in that Pacers game, that was an indication of a team that sort of turned things around a bit, right? Like they were leading that game by double digits in the third quarter at one point, and gave that whole thing up.
They're up 7.
It's there for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the fourth. Yeah, and it's there for them. And the Bucks haven't been great in the fourth quarter either. The Bucks have just been sort of rolling along as a blue collar team, more so than they've ever been, right? And we've talked already, a lot of us, including this podcast, about Brolo being the defensive player of the year, and maybe Giannis should hopefully Giannis bought him a few nice presents when he won his defensive players of the year awards, since that was clearly the result, as he's admitted this season, of Brolo being back in the lineup and that defensive rating plummeting as a result. And all of the interior stats plummeting as a result. Their ability to get a few more second chance points and limit opponents' second chance points, which was also a problem last season when Giannis wasn't gobbling up 15 rebounds a game. If he didn't get 15 boards, they were going to have trouble rebounding in a lot of those games. So, for this one, like I'm a little bit hesitant to feel confident in the Lakers just yet, mostly just because of those road woes and the differences that we're seeing in those splits that are pretty stark. I believe in the Bucks, and I believe in them sort of playing, staving off the competition while they wait for Chris Middleton to get back. They've done better than just stay alive and afloat, obviously, being a top 3 team in the East right now. So I think that if Middleton is back tonight, that would be the reason for what you're saying here, and why you believe in the Bucks' ability, the Lakers' ability to sort of take advantage of the fact that we don't know what that offense is going to look like when Chris Middleton comes back into it. If he does come back, I can't imagine him playing more than like 20 to 25 minutes, if not simply for the sake of conditioning. But when it's not worth it to me to bring up these stats of with Chris Middleton, without Chris Middleton just yet. I think we need to, it's similar to how Clay came back last season. We need to see what that looks like first, give him at least like a month to get back into the groove before we start saying that this team is going to start clicking a bit more on offense and increase, not necessarily increase their 3-point attempts, but maybe some of the percentages and efficiencies that they've been lacking this season because they don't have one of their key, playmakers, as well as a guy who puts up shots at the end of the shot clock, and in clutch time, which is where they've been struggling a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely hear you about the road woes. I'm really trying to look at this as a snapshot, though, not as the Lakers over the course of the entire season, because obviously you wouldn't trust them, as you would like to say, you wouldn't bet on them with my money for over that entire sample size. But you look, I mean, they were 30th in offensive efficiency on the road. until recently, right? When they get these lineup combinations and they get LeBron James back, they're 5th overall with 2 of those games coming, yes, at San Antonio, but on the road. So I mean, they're hitting from outside because they have Austin Reeves out there. Dennis Schroeder's been a better fit. He's questionable tonight with some personal issues. Lonnie Walker also questionable. Troy Brown also questionable. But look, I want more Austin Reeves on the floor. I need more cowbell. I want more Thomas Bryant off the bench, playing center, shifting AD down to that 4 role where he doesn't have to deal with Brook Lopez as much.
Yeah.
And in these last 3, look, the Lakers offense, take what you will, grain of salt with the competition, but 129 points per game with a 125 rating. You look at Milwaukee, faster at home, more paint points. Again, 10 more points per game. They were 24-13 to the over since the start of last season and against Western Conference teams. So there's a lot of conflicting stats. I mean, they also went over in 5 straight before that under at the Knicks. Mm-hmm. But the history of games when these teams play each other is kind of strength meets strength down low. Both are top 3 in limiting free throws. I do think it's kind of a vulnerable total to go under because of that. And so if you're looking at Lakers +9, what about Lakers +13 under 234? Sure. I mean, those are some big numbers for you to try to squeeze under there. But in any case, yeah, I mean, maybe you think there's some game theory here to take an over with the parlay with the Lakers or take the under with the Bucks to just get the money line here. What's the path to victory for each team?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the game theory is if the Lakers win, it's actually got to be a little bit. I mean, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. The pace to me for these teams is so similar. They play similarly in that sense. The Lakers play a little bit faster, but over these last 3 where the Bucks have won all 3 and the Lakers are playing a little bit better, getting their players back in rotation finally, they're both playing a little bit slower than they have as well. I think you see with AD as a little bit more of a focal point and LeBron back in, and actually Westbrook missing a game or 2, that's actually slowed down their pace, which has allowed them to be a bit more efficient on offense as well, and then also much better not much better, but better on defense where they were already pretty good as well. Again, competition notwithstanding. So all that's to say, like tonight, I actually see an under as well. I think it is a little bit inflated because of the fact that the Lakers have been playing so fast this season, but I think the Bucks are super fine playing slower. You look at the Bucks on the road, and the Lakers on the road are going under a bit more because that offense is so anemic. And the Bucks, as you said, they play a little faster at home though, so like there is the opportunity for them. They've gone over a bit more at home so far this season. So it is conflicting, but I think the game theory, to your point, is a little bit more down low. Like the Lakers don't have the 3-point shooting to hang with the Bucks. I think they need to keep this game inside the arc a little bit more as best they can. And maybe, obviously Brolo is a problem down there, but I think they've got the bodies to hang, and we'll see this be a little bit more of a banger than a run and gun style affair. So that's all the time we have for you in this one, though. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us. We are back with you guys with another video, a game video, and our player props today. So until we see you next, happy betting.